Hello, everybody. Okay, we're just going to give people a little bit of time. And hello to the first person live here with me. Now, I know I haven't spoken to you in a while. I needed to take a little bit of time because I'm shifting house. Our contract is up. We need to find a new place to live. I basically live with my brother and our two cats. And so that's been a logistical nightmare dealing with that. On top of that, at least on Facebook, I've been working more on my social justice work, calling out racism left, right, and center. And I've also been trying to shift a lot of energy in myself and also in everything that's happening around me. Recently, we also had, actually last night, we had a terrible, terrible scare with the cats and their health, and I'm also going to be asking for contributions for that. And so that will come up towards the end of this video. Hello, 305 Capricorn. Hello, Anju. Today, we are going to be talking about some really important, hardcore truths that are going to make people very, very uncomfortable. We are going to start with the new moon in Aquarius, what that means. We're going to start with some of the biggest new age misconceptions that are actually limiting people from working with spiritual energy truly and carefully. We are also going to be talking about some key alignments for the next few days. And then finally, we're going to be talking about fundraising for the kittens. So just to in between saying hi to Brandy, hi to Joyous Day, hi to Heyoka, hi to Sonia. Hello everybody. Hello, hello, hello. So like I said, haven't been around for a little while. Trying to shift house, gotta find a new place to live, and just dealing with human stuff, really. Okay, so first of all, let us begin. And like I said, this is not going to be a comfortable viewing for a lot of you. So, number one, new moon in Aquarius has just passed. And I was thinking to myself, should I do a video and a series of lives before I finish my move, after I finish my move? But I sat and I thought about it and I'm like, no, people need to know. So, the new moon in Aquarius is really a time for us to be seeding new intentions with new energies and the kind of vibrations that we want to push through into the world. Okay, whether you want to call it emerge, push through, that's your rhetoric. But this is the thing about Aquarius. When we started talking about the age of Aquarius, we did it at a time where there were a lot of Piscean vibrations in the sky. So you look back at the astrology of the 60s, especially, and of the 70s, and you can see what I mean. We've collectively projected upon Aquarian energy in ways that are actually more Piscean rather than Aquarian itself, because true, real, raw Aquarian energy is detached. It's the kind of energy, as you want to think of it as a water sign, it's even in the sign itself, right? It's the water bearer. You want to think about it as a water sign, but it's not. It actually deals with very, very detached etheric matters because it is an air sign. So, Aquarius is not about being cuddly. It's not even about being love and light. That is one of the biggest New Age deceptions that have actually clouded our ability to work with the frequencies that are changing right now. It is actually just about understanding the technology of spiritual frequency and how that moves. And it's morally neutral. It is a very morally neutral energy that can be used for either form, either way. And normally I don't talk about this stuff as I'm about to today because A, I've been trying to respect other facilitators' point of view. I've been trying to not rock the boat so much because I know spirituality is a means by which many, many traumatized people have tried to find meaning for themselves in their lives. But you know what? I can't stand the bullshit anymore. I just cannot stand the bullshit. I can't do it. I really can't. I'll give you a couple of examples. So, recently, like I said, I've been doing a lot of my social justice work, especially on Facebook. And that means raising awareness to people of what is going on in the world. And especially about racism, because that's one of those areas which I feel personally very invested in doing something about. So, predictably, I wrote this piece about how in my personal life I've actually given up many career opportunities, many spiritual opportunities, whether it was for more money, more fame, more whatever. I've given up a lot of things in my journey and made many different shifts in my career because it wasn't resonating with the truth of my soul. now that I have the language to speak it, I realize that subconsciously, whether it was at the political level, the personal level, the spiritual level, I stayed away from structures of privilege. With the abilities that I have in my life, I could be sitting somewhere in the Bahamas with my own retreat and 10 yachts. But that would have been a sellout of my soul. And I realized recently that in all stages of my journey, I have always resisted the status quo. I have always resisted privilege. I didn't need to. I could have always taken the easy path and just gone, hey. But no, just that there was this instinct in me that said no. So I wrote about that. And then people got really triggered by it, especially, and I'm going to say this, and I don't want to immediately jump to the conclusion that I'm racist for saying this, but white people. And I had these kinds of comments about how I was perpetuating division by talking about race, and I was actually just talking about what I had given up in my life because I did not want to perpetuate those structures. I gave up life overseas. I mean, I live in Malaysia. I could have easily started a postdoc career in the UK, but I saw the structures of academia. I saw the way it was entrenched in white privilege. I saw the marginalization of people of color, and I said, no, that's not going to work for me. And yeah, and I was calling it out. So immediately I got labeled as a racist, as someone perpetuating division, and all that horrible, horrible, horrible stuff. But those kind of things do not personally hurt me. Like I don't want you to think that I'm bitching about this because I feel sad about it. I have been dealing with this stuff since childhood. It's not a personal slight, but at a political level, it kind of makes me go, no. And at a spiritual level, it makes me go, no, even more. Because when we try to whitewash, and I use that word very, very selectively, when we try to whitewash the experience of humanity, because it doesn't fit in our bubbles of what spirituality should look like or what healing should look like, we are part of the problem. And I've needed to block people that I've known for years because they could not wrap their heads around the idea that someone like me, who they think has actually got a lot of privilege, which really has not. I mean, I've gone around the world, yes, but those were merit based scholarships. I don't have inherited wealth. I don't have assets. I don't have property. I don't have any security in my life because I chose, well, I don't have financial security. God is with me. There's a difference. But because I chose that I would not make those choices that would have made the shortcuts happen. I chose not to sell myself out. And saying that has really created a lot of backlash and a lot of triggering. Because whether we like it or not, white people and white culture, I should say, because individual white people can be beautiful, beautiful souls. White culture, unfortunately, has created and perpetuated a very toxic cult of spirituality that allows them to stay blind to privilege. And this is the pain of it. So their ideas of New Age metaphysics, their ideas of New Age spirituality that gets filtered down and trickled down, usually from Eastern teachings to begin with, actually just serves to maintain the status quo and to make the world the same place that it was, except a bunch of privileged people feel better about themselves. That's not spirituality. So let me first address this claim of speaking about racism creates division. No, it does not. It does not. Someone being a racist out there has got nothing to do with me saying it. It has got all to do with them and whatever sickness they have in their mind. Someone being a racist has got nothing to do with people of color living their lives. People will literally call the cops on you if you're having a barbecue in a park. The problem is with the racists themselves, not with the people speaking up about it. What people do, why people say these things when they make claims that they have access to a higher spiritual truth than you, is because they want to avoid, they want to deny. They want to be able to sit in their little bubbles of privilege and judge others. Now, if you know, and if you followed me for a while, you know that I have more, compared to what I actually have experienced about spirituality, what I actually share with you guys is less than 1%. I have shut up a lot about a lot of things because I know a lot of people have really tried very hard. They've built careers on this. And as long as they are not hurting people about it, I usually just go, your perspective, which is the love and light version of saying, I think you're wrong, but whatever, I'm not going to get in your way. But to be honest, I can't do that anymore. I was talking to someone whom I like a lot, and she was sharing a post about how you are attracting what you reject, and how you need to embrace things and whatever, whatever. And I said, okay, fine. How would you apply this in terms of a case of domestic violence or sexual assault? I mean, I wasn't angry with her. Like I said, I like this person. There are a lot of white people that I like because I know a lot of gems because they actually do their shit and they do their decolonization work and they support people of color and themselves. So that's good. But I was just asking, and she couldn't give me an answer. And it was all this jumble of words. I was just like, I just could not understand what she was saying. And I was thinking, and that's a friend of mine messaging me. Thinking, and and I was just like, yeah, okay, fine. Let's try and put this in a practical sense. If someone, um, if someone was doing this to you in a practical way, how would you respond? Would you ask a person who's being attacked to embrace the attacker? Would you ask a person to not deny what is happening to them? And she didn't want to answer because obviously I understand that this is a very personal matter. But literally, there is no human way that you would be able to say that. And unfortunately, the way metaphysical teachings are phrased is that they actually tend to end up shaming the individual. So if something bad happened to you, it was your fault. You manifested it, you attracted it to you. You are so powerful, but you attracted this because you are not evolved. Or, yes, your soul agreed to experience this, and it's so beautiful because it's karmic. Bullshit! Absolute fucking bullshit! And sorry, but the reason why I call this bullshit is, and I mean, if you look at my work, most of you who have worked with me know that I am not an astrologer. There are people who sincerely love astrology, work with the techniques, they are masters of techniques I never even heard of. And I really don't consider myself as an astrologer. I really don't. Somehow, something woke up in my brain someday. Astrologers like what I'm doing and wonder how I do what I do, but that is not because of astrology, it is because of spirit. I have worked with thousands of people all over the world, and there are several hundred of those cases where a person is caught in a karmic binding that they don't even know was there. When other facilitators have looked at them, they've gone, it's the plan, you you agree to this bullshit, and that person has sat for decades in that narrative, and I go look at them and I go, no, this is artificial. You can clear this, you can change this. They change this, they move on with their lives, they have a life that they cannot even imagine that they could have had a few months before. And I'm not saying this to big me up. I work with other facilitators who do the same work, who are more experienced than me, and I always refer cases that are beyond my scope to them. But as someone who works with karmic renegotiation, as someone who directly appeals to the Karmic Council, as someone who has actually literally helped people get out of very, very seemingly written in stone parts of destiny, binding spiritual contracts, I can tell you that a lot, and this is the scary part, a lot of what we think is our free will is not our free will. There are so many illusions and delusions hitting humanity from other realms and planes of existence. And we call this the higher realms. Just because something uses the word higher doesn't mean it's better. It can mean that the delusion is far more sophisticated. And a lot of people refer to things like the Akashic record, saying that that's the absolute truth and knowledge and whatnot. But as someone who worked with this years ago, I can tell you that that too has been taken over. The reason why the earth is in the state that it is, and indeed the stars in the sky are changing so rapidly right now, is because the rules are being rewritten. So when you hold on to an old idea, which maybe was true several thousand years ago, that whatever you experience is directly what you negotiated before you came in and that's it, you're not going to be able to shift energy now. I am speaking from experience, not just my personal experience, but by working with thousands of people, hundreds of which have literally walked into a new life they never thought they could. Because there are so many bindings that are placed on free will by metaphysical forces that are, frankly speaking, beyond the scope of what most facilitation is talking about. And that's why I don't talk about this shit. You know, It's scary and people don't want to think about it. So a very comfortable little bubble is to say, well, I manifested this. This is what I chose. Well, honey, a lot of the times you didn't. There are so many interferences to free will that have come through in individual life paths from external sources. And when you discount all of that, you are literally giving into your captors. This is one of the biggest new age metaphysical deceptions that exist. And maybe it started out for the right reasons, but right now it has become a tool of keeping humanity bound into whatever is harvesting or feeding off our collective energy of confusion. And there are many, many different sources of it. So when we talk about real spirituality, when we talk about not just reading stuff and sharing posts and feeling good about ourselves, but actually working with human beings and getting them out of paths that they have been enslaved to for lifetimes, it is scary as shit. It is terrifying. And that is why actual spiritual work is not something that you can't wear it as a label. You have to live it every single day. So, for me, this is not a 9 to 5 job. This is something that my entire day is made up of. So, this is the truth of it. And I'm not going to butter coat it, sugar coat it by saying, but this is my experience. I'm sorry. I'm going to call a spade a spade. When someone is bound into karmic contracts of debt and service that are not theirs, or they have actually been beguiled into accepting a contract that is still not their free will, telling someone that it is one of the most cruel things that a person can do. I have literally broken out of and I'm helping people out of contracts that so-called forces have written into as destiny, and when I look at it, I just see it's parasitic forces all over again. And so that is why I can't do sessions as often as I do, because the amount of work it takes to do karmic renegotiation is far, far, far higher than just reading a chart. And that is why I do not consider myself as an astrologer. Even the way we work with planets, even the way the karma of the planets themselves is changing at a very, very rapid pace each and every single day. So if you are interested in working with true Aquarian energy, you need to get out of your own way and empty what you think you know about your free will and the universe and karma. Because what we have been taught is literally BS. It is all changing. Miracles can manifest, but only if you are willing to take off the blindfold. And that is honestly what the energy of this new moon in Aquarius is about. It happens at a very, very powerful time. It happens at a very powerful time because obviously we're still, like the shakes and rumbles of 2020 have just begun. January is just the first. We're going to be seeing a whole new challenge in the middle part of the year and more intensity towards the end of the year as well. The dust hasn't even begun to settle because the quakes are still happening. What we see today is Mars in Aquarius, Mercury in Aquarius sextiling the great attractor in Sagittarius. We see Venus in Pisces squaring the great attractor in Sagittarius, and the great attractor in Sag is all about the actual path of truth you follow. Today is an extraordinary day for you to really choose what you believe and who you want to follow, so to speak. What part of teaching you want to understand and embody in your life. And when I say follow, I'm not talking about hierarchical bullshit. There's certain ideas that we live by. What is the idea that you live by? Today is a powerful day to manifest that. We also see Vesta and Taurus aspecting the great attractor, aspecting Mercury, aspecting Venus. And this is a good day to put your money where your mouth is. Whoever you support them. Whoever you follow them. Whoever is spending their time and energy and their efforts to make you understand, help them have a better life. Because, and this doesn't just apply to me, I say this for anyone who is your primary facilitator. Because Lord knows I have facilitators and I make sure as best I can they are well taken care of, because what they do is priceless. So really, I know a lot of you can't contribute. That's okay. A lot of you are in such dire financial straits that you can't, and that is, I understand that. Sending a positive and a happy thought in that situation is understandable, and it's a nice thing. But Unless you are actually sending focused energy, which is a ritual or a prayer, it is a nice gesture. It is a human gesture. Now, a lot of people go, well, intentions and prayers and that kind of thing, and okay. But let me just ask you this very, very, very simple. Keep it simple. If you were thirsty, how many of you intend for water to fill your belly and don't go to the sink? Anyone here? Is anyone actually able to manifest food in your belly just by your thought? Or to manifest food in the belly of a hungry child? I'm not saying Reiki doesn't work. I'm a huge believer in it. But that is a different thing. But is anyone able to do that here? I can't do that. Nobody I know can do that. And I know some fairly far out people who are awesome. As my brother was telling me the other day, rather than raw power, what has really saved me in this life is the quality of people that I know and the light that we all share together. But no one, honestly, is able to do that. So until you are truly able to work at that level of manifestation, pay people. Don't just type in thoughts and prayers. Pay people. Pay them what they need to get a cup of coffee. Pay them a little bit so that they can put towards their bills or take care of their children. Help them in a real and concrete way. That doesn't just matter to your that doesn't just focus on your facilitators. That also happens to causes that are helping the planet. Unless any one of you is able to do that, go to your bank account and support the people that you wish to support. If it's me, thank you. And if it's not me, that's okay. But at least support the people who support you. This is the time for us to be real about what we believe and what our spiritual paths are and whether they connect to this planet, because I have seen so many people. You cannot imagine. I've been doing this for 6 years. And I have seen tens of thousands of people, and I have seen so many people use the words of spirit and still be absolute assholes to other human beings. And that's just bullshit. It doesn't matter to me if you've got a degree in divinity. It doesn't matter to me if you're ordained as a priest or priestess somewhere. If you cannot help your fellow human being, you are not someone I want to deal with. And so much of the work of spirituality and the work of astrology is inherently narcissistic. I will be honest with you, there are certain financial issues that I need to take care of, mostly because of the family that I was born into. And once I'm done with that, honey bunches, I'm probably going to be doing something else. But that's not here yet. That's not here yet. But I can tell you that I really struggle with dealing with the level of entitlement, privilege, and narcissism that people bring to when they are looking for readings or consultations. My heart goes out to anyone who's truly struggling. But there's also that other bunch that just want to feel good. And I'm not here to do that. But yeah, yeah. Support your facilitators. Support anyone who is doing something good on this planet. Your intentions will not do it. Your money will. Your time will. Your ability to spread their message will. That's what I wanted to say about that. And that is also part of this energy of the new moon in Aquarius. Remember that it is squared Uranus. We also see coming up, we will also be seeing the shift of Black Moon Lilith from Pisces into Aries. And that shift from Pisces into Aries is going to bring a lot of these latent spiritual egotism out into the public eye, into the open. And that's actually going to bring up a lot of woundedness for people, which I, in my capacity, am meeting the way I can. And you know me, it's tough love. You need a soft hand to hold you. I do not judge. That is okay. But you come here, you're going to get truth. And that is only possible when I, in this form, in this lifetime, have died so many times, over and over and over and over again. It's not been a peaceful life. A lot of achievement, yes, but it's not been a peaceful life. And I don't, I hope I can stop this contract. I'm just about done. I'm just about done. But yeah, we are going to be seeing even more changes. We are also going to be seeing Pluto squared Eris, and that is going to make all of this latent energy erupt. So this is the band-aids got to come off, the blindfold has to dissolve, the veils have to part. That's not going to happen when you stick with the old paradigm. And that's really what I wanted to tell you today. The last thing is, now, as you can tell, me resting is not exactly resting. Um, but I also had a feeling that I needed to keep my schedule clear because as a cat mommy, and if you know anything about me, you know that my cat is my life. She really is. She is my soul. She is the light of my life, the light of my happiness and being. And I just had a feeling that something was going to happen, and it did. We spent, I think, the night before. No, it wasn't last night. It was the night before last. We camped out in the car in front of the medical clinic because there was something wrong with her. And we also brought my brother's cat, mostly because we didn't want to leave it alone. And she's also a little love. And both these girls are ill. They are ill. They have a feline virus. I know a lot of cats have it, but in the older cat's case, my cat, she's showing a lot of alarming symptoms: gingivitis, alopecia, allergies, um, bronchitis, and yeah, I need some help with her. So, like I said, no assets, no savings, no property, nothing. What you give me and what you buy from me in terms of a session is what I have materially. And for those of you who would like to see my cat and my brother's cat, and he's a healer as well, he basically works pro bono. Um, yeah. So, if you would like to help us, that would be greatly appreciated. Again, it's up to you. But if you can't send anything and you just want to send some good intentions, that's fine. I can respect that. But if you can send something and just want to get away with saying thoughts and prayers, save it. So, for those of you who want to help, you can send me a direct contribution to my PayPal. Just send me a note that also says it's for them. My PayPal address is www.paypal.me/theskypriestess. If you want to book a session with me, it's www.theskypriestess.as.me. So it's paypal.me/theskypriestess for the contributions and theskypriestess.as.me. I knew something was going to happen this year. Now I know what it is. So for those of you who can help and wish to help, please do so. So I hope this video has given you a sense of the kind of energy that Aquarius is asking us to embody. And I hope that you will find it in your hearts to help out the two little girls. I will put photos and get them on camera once I can. I think right now they're sleeping somewhere. And yeah, I'd say that's about it. Take care. Very many blessings. Lots and lots and lots of love. And remember, kick up the shit. That is the work right now. Kick up the shit. Bye bye, honeys.